Well, I was at my local lending library the other day, and I noticed that Richard Dawkins has a new book out. Um, so I took it out and I read it, and I've returned it. Um, the title of the book is "The Magic of Reality," and the subtitle, "How Do We Know What We Know?" And after reading what he had to say about philosophy of religion, I thought that a book that he wrote on epistemology would be, uh, well, rather amusing to say the least. However, when I read the book, I was pleasantly surprised that he had toned down his vitriol quite a bit against Christianity. Now, it's still there. He still is very much anti Christian, or at least what he perceives to be Christianity. He misrepresents it. But I don't really want to talk about the book, as I do want to talk about one particular statement that he makes in the book, and that's also a similar statement to what he has made in his movie, um, which, as I recall, was the root of all evil, um, where he goes and is interviewing, I think it's Ted Haggard, and in the course of their conversation, the pastor, Ted Haggard, brings up the topic, or the topic comes up during their conversation, of creationism, young earth creationism. And Haggard says that why he doesn't uh, like, or why he doesn't accept evolution, in part, is because that the um, process of evolution, the fact of evolution, if it were a fact, he denies that it is a fact, but the fact of evolution uh, would be something that happened randomly, but yet we see things that are well adapted to their environment. And Dawkins responds in the movie by saying that no biologists uh, hold that evolutionary processes are random. In this book, The Magic of Reality, he is he's talking about the oh grasshoppers becoming frogs or something through genetic drift, and uh, he has a little disclaimer in there that it's not a random process. He says that there is a great misunderstanding among lay people that the evolution of various species was random. And he goes on and describes how natural selection and survival of the fittest work to produce it. Well, the problem with that claim that no biologists believe that evolution is random is false. Um, there was a recent lecture by William Lane Craig where he was going to debate Richard Dawkins if Richard Dawkins showed up, but Richard Dawkins didn't show up. Instead, there was three panelists. Two of them, I believe, were physicists, and the third one, whose name escapes me at the moment, but he's an Oxford professor, or maybe he's Cambridge, but he's a biologist and I believe a non-believer, and he, while he's interacting with Dr. Craig, says that evolution is random. Also, Richard Wright, whom I had never heard of before, but he has written this book, which I highly recommend. There's actually a series of these, Through the Eyes of Faith. They're written by Christians. It's for Christians. This one is Biology Through the Eyes of Faith. It goes through all the different subject areas. But he, though not coming out and saying that he believes in evolution, does seem to be a theistic evolutionist. He holds a PhD in biology from Harvard University. and he is a emeritus professor of biology at Gordon College. Gordon College is a Orthodox theological institution, but he is a biologist working in the field who accepts evolution. He says in that book that evolution is random. So there's two biologists that disagree with Dawkins. Now, I think what's really going on here is what happens very frequently in conversations about biology and faith, the book of Genesis, creationism, etc. People who accept evolution and people who oppose it both seem to fall into this error, quite a bit, and that is equivocation. Words, we have to be very careful when we're talking about something technical like science to be consistent and clear in our use of terminology. When Dawkins claims that evolution is not random, what he seems to be saying is that there are various laws, laws of natural selection, laws of genetic mutation, survival of the fittest, that govern the process. And yes, that is an uncontroversial claim. When things evolve at the microevolutionary level, and if there is macroevolution when they evolve at the macroevolutionary level, they are changing not haphazardly, but as a result of what the initial conditions are, what genes are in the gene pool, and there's various things with isolation and survival of the fittest, etc., etc. So that's not random. That is scientific law. But when Ted Haggart and other people that perhaps aren't very well versed in science will object because they are young Earth creationists or other creationists, will speak of randomness in the sense of being unguided. That is, there is no God who is guiding the process. And because they believe in God, these people, that's why they reject evolution. They think that evolution is a process which is not guided by God, according to the evolutionists, and there are many evolutionists who do hold to that. They think that that's part and parcel of the evolutionary paradigm, that there is no God who's guiding the process. It's natural, it's not supernatural. So in that sense, they are right that it's random. So we've got the word random being used in two different senses. Just like evolution. Sometimes people speak of evolution in a biological sense. Other times, people include all this metaphysical baggage of naturalism, materialism, physicalism, atheism, and so on. So the biological community, as I understand it, is essentially, and there are exceptions to this, but more or less all biologists accept that evolution has occurred, that there is a single common ancestor to human beings. That includes people teaching at conservative Christian schools, that includes people that are atheists, that includes agnostics. The general consensus of the biological community, evolution is a fact. But even if we accept that evolution has occurred, that does not tell us that there is no God. Okay, it's a non sequitur of all non sequiturs to say that because evolution happened, therefore God does not exist. Richard Wright, for example, makes that point. That's evolutionism. Evolution is a perfectly good word, but when you add ISM, then you get into problems. You turn it from a science into a philosophy which he would reject as a Christian, as an evangelical. So the the occurrence of evolution um, is something which is non-controversial within biology, that it has occurred. But yet, because of all this uh, equivocating on different terms, people are very confused, uh, and they don't understand what's really going on. So it's like in the Screw Tape Letters, which C.S. Lewis wrote. There is a department in hell within the novel The Screw Tape Letters that specializes in twisting the meaning of words. They'll take a word and they'll tweak it just a little bit how it's understood, and they're able to deceive people by taking a legitimate word and making it mean something slightly different. And then there's all kinds of equivocations and misunderstandings and miscommunications as a result of that. So that's something that we must be wary of. Define terms consistently, clearly, unambiguously, and then we can agree perhaps on more than we do agree on usually. We can have a clearer, more fruitful, more productive conversation, more fruitful dialogue. I'd like to hear your comments. Thanks for watching, and shalom out.